Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Crawford's Saudi play is paying off big time. Look, man, whether y'all like it or not, Terrence Crawford is the A side. Now, for those of you who are saying Crawford can't be the A side because he's not making as much money as Canelo, you know what that means? That just means Canelo's making more money. That's all that means. Now, I'm gonna point out a few things. You look at Terrence Crawford, his energy, his aura, and you look at Canelo's. One fighter looks happy and doesn't look worried. The other fighter looks worried. The other fighter looks pissed. What happened to Canelo, who was doing interviews talking about, yeah, with Turkey, I'm going to finish my career. I will stay with Turkey. I will finish my career. What happened to all of that? Viva El Saudi. That shit gone out the window now, hasn't it? Canelo doesn't look so happy. So I'm telling you right now, that money may have put him in position to get his butt whipped. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure out there in Saudi Arabia, it's more like, Allahu Akbar. It's more like Omaha O Akbud right now. Even listen to Bomac when Bomac's doing interviews. You notice Eddie Reynoso didn't speak? You notice Eddie Reynoso not doing any interviews? Anybody here wonder why? How does Turki Al-Sheikh feel about cheats? How does Turki Al-Sheikh feel about guys using pads? Turki Al-Sheikh wants a mash-up, crash-up. He wants to see, let me tell you something. Turki Al-Sheikh wants to see somebody get killed in that ring. He wants to see him fight to the death. Now, I'm not saying, of course, he wants anyone to die, but what I'm saying, he wants to see some violence. And if they die like the Russians said. And Rocky, whatever, Rocky 3, 4, whatever the hell it was. If he dies, he dies. But at the same time, Turki Al-Sheikh don't want to see nobody get the hell beat on because somebody was on pads and had an unfair advantage. Eddie Reynoso is under the spotlight right now. So I don't know if he, took it upon himself to refrain from commenting. I don't know what the story is. But if you take a look at Terrence Crawford, his team, and the energy around them, it's a winning energy. You take a look at Canelo and his team and the energy around them, it's a losing energy. Canelo already lost the fight, people. The only reason Canelo, I think, has a chance is because I think Turki Al-Sheikh is still pushing for that 18 by 18. Remember, Crawford is the one they're rooting to win. They're rooting for to win. But Turki Al-Sheikh still don't want no Tommy and Jerry stuff. So he's like, all right, Crawford, I'm letting you know. I'm backing you. You got the $1 billion backing. But I can't let you come in here no 20 by 20, 22 by 22, 24 by 24, 30 by 30 ring. We're not doing that. You had to get in here and fight. But I just think by the time Crawford and Canelo get to fight week, I think we're gonna see some things here, man, that people are gonna find a little bit odd, a little bit out of the norm when it comes to Canelo. But fortunately for Canelo, the fight's going to be in the States in Vegas. You know, when they have the weigh-ins and all that, and the final press conference, if they have it open to the public, there's going to be all Mexicans in there. It's going to be all Mexico up in there. Now, as far as Crawford and him as a superstar, we're going to find out who's really coming out to support Terrence Crawford. We know Turki Al-Sheikh he got the $1 billion backing. So Crawford has the most important person supporting him and backing him. But we're going to see during fight week, this is a whole nother video, but I'm going to give it to you now. Who's going to come out to support Crawford? Is he going to have the hip-hop world? Is he going to have Hollywood A-listers? Is he going to have R&B guys? Is he going to have athletes? Is Crawford going to have important personalities and important people coming out to support him for this fight? Because, see, they're going to need those front rows filled. They're going to need people paying $100,000 for seats, $50,000 for seats. They may have a couple $1 million seats. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But Crawford has to do his part. No, we know Turkey Al-Sheikh, when he's in the house, every day is Thanksgiving. Turkey Al-Sheikh ain't worried about money, really, but at the same time, he doesn't need to, but he wants to turn a profit. He wants to put on a great event. But I'm just sitting back watching how this is playing out, and I'm saying, man, Canelo's in trouble. And something else I'm gonna point out. I have to really, I gotta point out the fact that Reynoso and his camp, they're like repeat offenders with this pad shit, right? You can't make me believe that even if Canelo, which I'm not saying he is, but if he was microdosing or if Canelo was doing anything foul over the last few years, right? Now, I'm not saying he is. We know about the Mexican beef and all that. Forget that, right? All I'm saying is if there was any foul play, which I have no reason to believe it, I do think is a possibility, right? But I don't think he's going to be able to get away with that. And maybe that could be some of the frustration is, although Canelo trains hard, he has skills. No matter how much, if a fighter is juicing, right? That doesn't mean now that you throw your uppercuts perfect, your hooks perfect. That doesn't mean now that you have timing. That doesn't mean now that you have lateral movement. That doesn't mean that you can control your fighter and set traps. You have to have IQ to do all that. So Canelo is a badass in the ring. But all I'm saying is Canelo, how much confidence can a guy like Canelo have and Eddie Reynoso have if they're no part of their camp in the training regimen is microdosing banned substances and ensuring that they do it in a way to where they don't get detected. Now remember, I'm not saying Canelo's doing anything crazy. I'm just telling you, for me, as a boxing fan looking at this, and remember, all we're doing is having a conversation. How confident can Team Canelo be knowing that they're under the microscope? Because whether you want to agree or not, they're under the microscope. And you could thank Eddie Reynoso for that. When he comes out here and says, all I do is train. I don't know nothing outside of train. I just train. This is what the trainer's saying. The head trainer is saying, I don't know nothing about my fighter except when they come here and here in my little, these parameters right here that I set as a coach. That's all I know. Anything outside of this little box, I don't know nothing. Yeah, I'm the head trainer. That's my guy. I'm 100% responsible for him, but I don't know nothing outside of just training him how to throw punches and not get hit to hit and not get hit. That shit don't sound right to me. But remember, with my background, you can't say that. There's no way in the world I could be in the workplace and could have had a subordinate go out here and get caught drunk driving. And for me to sit here and say, well, I just outside of work, I don't know nothing about that person. I don't know nothing. I just come here, they train them, they do the job, go home. I don't know if they drink and drive with it. That's not my business. I don't know. I could never say that because there was an expectation when you're in those key leadership positions to get out from behind the desk, to go out there. You don't want to be jumping in people's houses and be in their personal business, but you want to have a pulse on what's going on with them and what things they're into. If you have somebody who's a heavy drinker or someone who smokes, who parties a lot or is in church a lot or whatever they're doing, the good and bad, you're expected to be abreast of that stuff. You can't know everything. But there's no way in the world when you're in a leadership position, you come out like Eddie Reynoso and be like, oh, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. You can't do that. So that being said, when I'm watching this, I already see a breakdown in the team dynamics between Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. I don't know if y'all realize that. Eddie Reynoso, he doesn't talk a lot, but he talks. They didn't give that man a chance to say nothing. And even in interviews, he didn't do nothing. But Bomac, he didn't really say nothing. It was Crawford, Canelo, Turkey Al-Sheikh, and the guy with the ring belt. But you notice at the end, Bomac was right there. We're going to whip his ass. Omaha or Atbud. That's what they shouting out there. Omaha or Akbud. So y'all better pay attention. Y'all get mad if you want, man. And this whole thing about Canelo's just going to steamroll Terrence Crawford. I don't know. Because if Canelo, how is Canelo going to all of a sudden now turn up and be this Terminello? How is Saul going to become Terminello Alvarez? You know what I'm saying? When he hasn't been Terminello in quite some time. Why? Just because it's Terrence Crawford is an 18 by 18 ring? I do think that ring make a big difference, but Saul to become Terminello, that takes a mentality. In order for him to up it, he's really going to have to find a way to slow Crawford down. So Terminello will have to slow Crawford down in order for him to pick up the pace. But it's going to be interesting, though. I think if the first 4 rounds, Terminello can't get to Crawford in that 18 by 18, the more I think about it, I think Terminello could be in trouble. But that 18 by 18 ring is small. So, we just got to wait and see. I thought, when I found that shit, I was like, Canelo going to kill Crawford. Crawford loses. It's over. But then I watched the press conference. I'm like, what the hell? Something ain't right here. Crawford showing all 32 teeth. Canelo miserable. I'm like, okay, there's something going on here that we don't know about. Maybe the ring won't be 18 by 18. It sounded to me yesterday like the ring's going to be 18 by 18. I don't know what y'all got from that press conference. But it sounded to me like that's what it's going to be. But let's just wait and see how it all plays out. But I think right now, people are realizing Crawford's the A side, Canelo's the B side. Just because you're getting paid more money don't mean you're the A side. You watch this event and how Turkey's going to keep promoting Bud and pushing Bud. You watch Bud is going to be getting more shine than Canelo. Watch how this plays out. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo, I know he signed a contract with Turkey, but I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo and Turkey start bumping heads. And the other thing, I want to point out something. Pay attention to this, right? Because I've been talking for 12 minutes. I'm going to end with this. You notice in every photo of Turkey on a sheet with a fighter or a promoter, there's always a photo of him holding their hand. You've seen photos of him holding Terrence Crawford's hand, Dana White's hand, Frank Warren's hand, the hand of Eddie Hearn. I don't know about Wilder and AJ, those guys, but I'm pretty sure there's some photos out there. But those are the ones just off the top of my head. You haven't seen no photo of Canelo holding Turki Al-Sheikh's hand. And don't forget, Canelo was making fun of Turki Al-Sheikh with his compadre, where the compadre was trying to hold his hand, and Canelo was looked, and then he realized the guy was making a joke, and he pulled his hand away. Y'all remember that? Turkey does not forget. I'll put it to you this way. If Turki Al-Sheikh knows who I am and took a jab at me on Twitter, right, over a video I made, y'all think I'm joking? Turki Al-Sheikh knows who I am. If that man took a jab at me because I was talking about sports washing at its finest and shit, if he took a jab at me, you think, and he knows what I'm doing, you think he doesn't know what the hell Canelo's doing or what Canelo's done? Turki Al-Sheikh don't have time. He doesn't have time for the bullshit, and he doesn't forget. And is he spiteful? I don't know if it's fair for me to say that. But I'll put it to you this way. He sees everything. He hears everything. And he's got people watching. And you better believe that although he wants to grow the sport, you better believe he knows. He knows what Terminello was doing. And he may have it out for him. Anyway, Terrence Crawford's never said nothing bad about. How's Crawford refer to Al-Sheikh? Turkey. Yeah, Turkey. Crawford with that Omaha or Akbud accent. Oh, Turkey. Turkey's cool, man. Yeah, Turkey's cool. Bud know not to say nothing bad about him. Bud like shit. I'll hold his hand if I had to hold his hand. He gonna pay me this money. I know we got some of the same boys. Crawford ain't playing around. He like, you know what? I'll come out here and play in this sand and get this paper. Crawford ain't getting caught up in none of the bullshit. You watch how Crawford's moving. Crawford is very, very smart. Anyway, let's see how it all plays out. But for y'all out here, man, talking about Canelo's the A side, Canelo, he's just making more money, but he ain't the A side of nothing. Crawford is the A side. There's a reason why Crawford said it's Crawford versus Canelo, not Canelo versus Crawford. He's like, Crawford, my name comes first. I'm telling you, you watch Canelo getting paid $150 million to just not be the A side, but to shut up in color is what he's getting paid. And you can see he don't like it. Anyway, I don't want to give y'all too much in this video. Next video to come to talk about Canelo and his frustration with his position right now. Because I know once this shit gets going, Canelo's going to speak more. Canelo's temperamental. He just can't let you sit there and mess with him. It's like me. I'll give you, I'm going to end with this. This had nothing to do with boxing. Funny story. So, you see I got on right here. See that says? Coach H? I don't know if y'all can see that. But anyway. It says Coach H on the back, right? Coach H for Coach Hood Champion. Now, the H is for my last name, but you call me Coach Hood Champion. So I coach my son's soccer team. He's 7 years old. Now, we're talking about being temperamental, right? You know, I can be very temperamental, but I think about consequences of my actions. It seems like Canelo, he thinks about it too out there in Saudi because he wants that money. But at the same time, I know Canelo will get to a point to where he won't care. Nobody controlling him. So about a month and a half ago, the soccer season began, and there's two fields for the 7 and 8 year olds to play. One field is level, it's real safe, the conditions really good, it's really safe for kids to play. The other field, the turf and everything is nice, but there's a water pipe that's in the middle of the field, and there's a green cap covering it. But there's like surrounding that pipe, you can see where the dirt was dug out. So if kids are running and not paying attention, they can trip over that. So the first practice, I'm on the good field. The other team is on the other field. The second practice, I come out there, I noticed that the other team was on the field I was initially on. I didn't think none of it. I just figured they got there before me, so I went to the other field. So while we're out there practicing, one of my kids tripped. And I was like, okay, we kept playing. Another one tripped. And I'm like, why do you keep tripping in that same spot? So I walk over, and I'm like, oh, shit, there's a hole in the field. And I saw they had that water pipe. I didn't know that. But while I was standing there looking at that, I said, that's why the other team was on the other field. Because the practice starts at 6. I showed up about 5:25. And I noticed there were kids already on the other field, but they were just kicking the ball around. They weren't practicing, but they were on the field. They were from the other team. So I'm like, why would kids be here so early? So when I was walking to the field, there was this really big, robust woman who came earthquaking towards me. And she was like, oh, we reserved the field. We got the field. And I was like, not a big deal. But I was thinking to myself, what the fuck? You rushed me like that over the fucking field? So it didn't matter to me. I was like, we'll practice on the other one. But after being out there, I was like, oh, that's why they wanted that field. Nasty bitches. You know what I'm saying? Would instead of just telling me, hey, be careful out there with your kids, there's a hole in the field, they didn't say nothing. They wanted their kids to be safe and wanted my kids on my team to go out there and possibly break their fucking necks. So the next week came, I got out there about 5:10. And you know what? There were like 2 kids on the fucking field already. I'm like, oh. And so here comes that robust woman again. Oh, yeah, we've got the field. I was like, how are you here so early? Oh, we have kids practicing over here with the younger group, and it's just easy, and it's just easier for us to see the kids there, so we got the field. I was like, you can't reserve fields here. I was like, but forget all that. Why do you want this field so bad? So check this out. She's like, oh, it's just because we can see both see the kids here from the field we're at. I was like, no, Tell me the truth. Why do you want this field so bad? It doesn't make sense that you show up. You have kids out here this early. Then another woman chimes in because the robust one, she wouldn't admit the real truth. She's like, the reason why we want this field is because the other field has that hole on it. I said, that's what I thought. Thank you. I was like, you were honest. I was like, yo, don't even talk to me. And I said, I'll talk to you. I was like, so my problem is no one told me anything. And the robust one kept trying to talk. She wanted to argue. I was like, you know what? You're not even a coach. Don't talk to me. And I went, and her brother was coaching, right? So then he comes over after a while, and she's like, yeah, he won't talk to me because he says I'm not the coach. So yeah, and I'm like, don't even talk to me. I said, I'll talk to you. I said, this is the issue. Y'all know there's a fucking, you know there's a hole in the field, and nobody told me. I said, that shit is horrible. It really irritates me that you let my kids go over there and fucking get hurt. Someone could at least tell me what's going on. So he and I talked a little bit, and he was like, look, we'll practice the first half. You can come get on the second half. I was like, all right, cool. But then we did it, and I was like, this is stupid to be practiced. Go 30 minutes into a practice, to have all the kids and the parents with the chairs and whatever canopies they have up, walk up, carry that shit over to the other field. I'm like, this shit is just a forced situation. I'm not doing that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to fix these motherfuckers. Since they don't want to be fair about it, we came out there the next week, same shit. They're on the fucking field. So we're on that bullshit field again. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. So I got with the event coordinators and I said, look, put together a schedule. It's the only way to cut down on the bullshit because I don't want to talk to them anymore. In particular, that robust woman. There's 2 women over there, very mouthy. And I'm not arguing with no females. And I'm sure I ain't talking to those 2 because they're not the coach anyway, right? Coach to coach, cool. Coach to parent, not cool. So we put out the schedule, and that disrupts everything because they fucking got to go over to the other field now. So now we're going out there, everything's cool. And I definitely don't have nothing to say to them. So this past week, we had practice, and we had that field. So again, talking about Canelo's temperament and mine. Now, believe you me, did I want to rant and rave? Yeah. Did I almost get there? Yeah, but I caught myself. Because if I let loose, I'm telling you, there's no control of me. And I know that. You know what I'm saying? If I decide to go fucking Al Capone, I'm fucking going Al Capone. So I was like, just take a deep breath and get away, get out of the environment. I can conversate. I can't confrontate. You know what I'm saying? So confrontation, that's not me. I don't handle that shit well. So I got to get away from the environment because I will go fucking Al Capone. So we go out to this Tuesday, and they had kids on the fucking field again. Now there's a schedule. Schedule shows that we have the field. And I walk out there like, what the fuck? So I see some of my parents going to the field like, no, we have this field. Here comes that robust one, earthquaking towards me. Doom, doom. We have the field. We have said, don't talk to me. You're not the coach. I already told you before, don't speak to me. So there's another lady over there. So I start walking over there. Now I'm seeing red, but I'm still trying to keep my cool. But I'm in the fucking red zone. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, we got a fucking schedule in place, and y'all still trying to make a fucking big deal about this. So I go and talk to the other lady. I'm trying to pull up the schedule, and I'm telling her, like, yo, I'm a retired guy, military cat. I don't play these fucking games. I would never do that. Come out here and take a field when I don't have it. There's little fucking kids out here. Like, I ain't got time. This shit is childish. Like, it's fucking stupid. And that's what's really getting me. Like, I can't believe I'm out here dealing with this fucking elementary type bullcrap with these fucking adults. So she's like, no, I believe you. I said, we got the fucking field. I was like, she's like, well, we haven't had it in 2 weeks. And it doesn't matter. That's your problem. It's just like if we didn't have it for 2 weeks because we got rained out, I have to just eat that. Just follow the fucking schedule. We can avoid the bullshit. Now so I'm walking back over, and here comes the robust one. She's walking by me. Oh yeah, you're not gonna just come out here and boss me around. You know, I'm not afraid of you, and you know, no man's gonna tell me what to do. I said, have a good day, young lady, and I just walked by her. But I know it's a lose-lose for me to be arguing with a fucking woman. 2, I got all these kids out there, little kids out there, and kids watching me. But 3, I know if I say something and some guy tries to chime in to, defend her, I know what the fuck is about to happen. I'm not talking to that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And I'm probably going to end up going to fucking prison because I'm telling you, I'm going all the fucking way. And I know that about me, and I know I got things that I got to work through, but that's why I don't do certain things. So I just took a deep breath, and I just looked at my son. And when I look at him, it kind of calmed me down. It's like, yo, don't do that. You got your little man out here. That's my little king, you know what I mean? He never seen daddy like that. But they fucking with the wrong one. But I know it's a lose-lose, because 1, I'm fucking 50 years old. 2, kids all around me. 3, it's a fucking woman. 2 women. And 4, if you look at them, you can understand why they're miserable. So we out there, we're practicing and shit. And one of the kids kicked the ball. And it goes into the other field. Now this is where I almost fucking took it there. The ball goes into the field. And here's the robust one. Oh, you kicked the ball on our field. Yeah, you guys have your own field. Why can't you just keep it over there? And when she doesn't know, I heard her. She's saying it loud enough for me to hear, but I'm not paying her no attention. At that point, I made a decision, right, for a split second, to fucking throw the ball at that motherfucker. And then I caught myself, and I was like, you know what? Either way it goes, you lose. Like, don't do it. Just make sure you talk to the right people to get this shit handled, because either way it goes, I can't win. But I can't let motherfuckers sit here and pop shot and try to bully me, you know what I mean? Just because they're females. Miserable motherfuckers. So we ended up having a scrimmage with the other team. I told the coach, if those women continue with their bullshit, I'm just going to terminate it. I was like, it's fucking childish. It's stupid, you know? So anyway, the thing ends, I coordinate. I touch base with the event coordinator again, like, hey, this is the bullshit going on. And, hey, X, Y, and Z, something needs to be done about it because it's fucking stupid. So then they show up today at the game, and they're watching, they talk to them. And, of course, there wasn't any bullshit out there because now everybody's scared to say something because they can get their ass banned from coming out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is their fucking life. So at the end, I shake one coach's hand, I shake the other coach's hand. These guys are 2 males, so I'll shake their hands. Now, I didn't know there was a female coming behind, but she's one of them who runs her fucking mouth. And she's standing there, and at first I didn't know what the fuck she was doing. She put her hand out, and I stopped and looked at her because I really don't want to talk to this motherfucker. And I think I shook her hand. I can't remember if I shook her hand or not, but I just looked at her. And she was like, like with all these fucking, nonverbals and all this body language bullshit. She was like, oh, yeah, you got a real problem against women. And I just looked at her. And I just walked off. So it pisses them off because I won't talk to them. And the reason I don't talk to them is because they're fucking females who, 1, they're not the coach. And 2, they're fucking females. What the fuck I look like coming out there trying to be chitty-chatty with some fucking women who aren't even the coaches? If they were the coaches, I would talk to them. But I would keep it to the bare minimum. To the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? But once I realized you're not even fucking the coach, and I realized their temperament and they're fucking immature, I sure as fuck ain't talking to them. So anyway, we're leaving the field, and I talked to the event coordinator and said, hey, this is the kind of bullshit that happened. He apologized to me, and I just told him, like, it's fucking crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got to counsel these motherfuckers. And I left off, and the thing is, that shit fucks with my energy. That's why I'm talking about it now. It fucks with my energy. And the reason I give you that whole story about being temperamental is when something fucks with you, you gotta talk yourself through that shit, because I know if I respond to those females, there's probably gonna be some fucking hero out there who's gonna want to come up, not recognize that they're wrong, and tell them, look, you bitches, shut the fuck up. He's gonna probably want to say something to me. And I'm telling you, I already know me. I'm not fucking saying nothing. I've always been like that. I've never been the arguing type. I'm gonna punch you in your motherfucking face. And that's why I have my son with me, and I was like, let me get the fuck out of here. And they were walking by me. I just going about my way. I'm not looking at them, paying them no attention, because it won't. And when I'm in that fucking at that point, I'll snap. And anybody around me, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I won't care. So I had my son with me. I stayed calm, and we got the fuck up out of there. And I say that because I'm watching Canelo, and I felt like during that press conference that Canelo was having to talk himself through some shit to make sure he didn't lose his cool, because he's temperamental. He's got way more dough than me. But trust me, I got a lot to lose if I do something stupid. But I think Canelo's at a point to where he may not give as much of a fuck as I do, because even if he goes out there and does something ridiculous, he's still okay. I'm still okay, but I ain't Canelo okay. But I can't let my son see me act like that. You know what I'm saying? That being said, man, people, somebody really getting under your skin, if you can have that conversation with them, cool. But if not, take a deep breath, avoid the motherfucker. You take on every asshole you meet, you be a busy person. But when it comes to Canelo, I think Canelo needs to really understand the situation he got himself into. Because, man, I wouldn't want to be sitting up there on the fucking stage knowing that the guy who's promoting the fight, he's backing this guy to beat me. It's not, see, the thing is, one thing if it's Canelo's with Eddie Hearn and Terrence Crawford's with Bob Arum, or he's with, Al Heyman or something. We're just having a conversation. Then you would want for the guy's promoter to be talking up their fight and supporting their fighter. But Turki Al-Sheikh's supposed to be neutral, but he's not. So Terrence Crawford is the new Hamza Shiraz out there. Anyway, I don't like. You know what I'm saying? I think that shit is foul. But, they're getting paid the kind of money they're making. They can't afford to be human with emotion. Because you're getting paid $150 fucking million. The other guy getting $100 million. My man, you get $150 million. You got to take that shit. You can't be emotional. You can't be upset. You getting $150 million to be treated like the fucking B side when you used to be in the A side. So you got to eat that shit. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.